The last couple of months have been so transformational. My life changed completely, and I've never felt better than now. So I really wanted to share with you how I managed to get to this elevated emotional state, especially because that's one of the most important things in trading, which this channel is mainly about. Everything happens for a reason. I believe many of you know what happens with TFT and Eastern firms, and if you're new, I talked about it on my first live stream, so if you want to check it out, you can check the link in the right corner. But anyways, I finally got free time to focus on myself and to do the mental work that I knew I needed to do a long time ago. But I was always postponing it because everything else was more important, and I had too many deadlines to keep up with. I wasn't prioritizing myself at all, and even though I was aware that I was too ambitious and with the deadlines that I was setting for my goals and that they were unrealistic, I was resisting to change anything. I wanted everything at once. I was in this mindset of thinking that I was missing out if I didn't do everything, so I was working more than full-time for this then, making YouTube videos, trading, doing webinars for my community and giving guidelines, sharing analysis with them every single day in video format, trading, moving out, getting rid of furniture, taking a few trips with my family and trip to Turkey to work related, and yeah, all of that was part of my schedule. And can you guess how I was feeling with such kind of schedule? And my schedule was not like that only at the beginning of this year. It has been like that for quite some time. Yeah, I was the most anxious person I knew, and I was under constant stress, chasing the next thing and working my ass off to meet all the deadlines that I set for myself. Not to even mention the intermittent fasting that I started at the beginning of this year, which I was constantly doing with no cheat days while I was also physically active. And there was not enough stress for my brain, so I had to add even more. But enough about the past. A few days ago, I messaged my community to share with them that I finally tapped into a flow state. I didn't message them just one random moment when I was feeling good. I messaged them when I made sure that I was really in a flow state and that it was not just a temporarily feel-good moment. I said if I would describe how it feels, I would say you feel like you're high all the time without taking any substances. And that's really how it feels. You feel amazing. When you're in a flow state, everything is easy, everything goes well, and you just feel perfect. One person from my community asked me what were the things that I did that worked for me to reach this state. Well, it was not one thing. It was lots of things. A lot of inner work, journaling, different healings and retreats, taking hard decisions to let things go, cutting unhealthy relationships, no matter if it's a family member, partner, friend, changing the environment, changing my schedule, not skipping a single day of reading and feeding my brain with healthy information, and lots of reflection, which helped me to understand what I want in life. Actually, I knew, but I wasn't living in alignment with my true self. I got caught up by the numbers, I'm not gonna lie, and that was mainly because of my job. I was taking baby steps towards improvement even before, but due to the different circumstances, it was hard for me to maintain the habits that I needed to be able to improve. I now truly understand how important our surroundings are and the people that we surround ourselves with, hang out with, and the environment that we live in. Since I'm listening to many podcasts, I even heard that there is a study that shows that cortisol, which is the stress hormone, is contagious, which means that if you're surrounded by people who have a life full of drama and problems, want it or not, you will get affected, even if it doesn't have anything to do with you. I've never been as focused on my spiritual journey as now, and now I see how powerful it is. I see how powerful our mind is. As I said, I was making these baby steps towards the right decisions and digging into spirituality. And if you know the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and have followed the instructions in it, you would know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know it and you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. When I was reading the book, the part that says to pick one feeling that you want to get immediately rid of, the feeling that I wrote down was anxiety. I was living under constant anxiety, and I had so many anxiety attacks, I'm not gonna lie. And I knew it was holding me back in many areas, including trading. I started doing the meditations, and the interesting thing is, according to the guidelines in the book and the morning meditation, you should not try to predict how things will come to you. You should just know what you desire and what you want, and what you and manifest it, and let the universe to show you how you're gonna get there. So nothing was changing for quite some time. Things got even worse, but I kept manifesting and I kept meditating. There were days when I felt like it was completely pointless, but I was trying to shift my thoughts and think instead it worked for many others, so why not for me? So the first thing was the whole thing with Easton, which I saw as something that came from the universe for me. And the second thing was one trader that I met in Malaysia who brought me to one sleeping meditation. And the healer there recommended that I should try art therapy as well. So during the guided meditation on the art therapy, I connected with my inner child. I connected the present anxious person with that innocent, playful, always happy and energetic little girl that was asking me, what the am I doing with myself? Tears started falling from my eyes while I was meditating and breathing deeply. And it felt like real purification. The end of the therapy was the art part. There were 10 people in the group, and we were rotating our drawings, and we didn't know whose drawing we were drawing on. In the end, when we received the paintings, they were completely different, but with a meaning and a message. No one in the room knew each other, but someone had written on my painting, "Don't give up." My drawing had no empty space, and when the therapist asked me what was the first thing that comes to my mind when I saw the painting, my answer was my life. This was my schedule, no empty space. And by the way, my painting was the only one that had no white space on the paper. And another thing that I said was the text, that this is kind of message that tells me not to give up on chasing my dreams to achieve the goals that I've set. At that moment, things weren't clear for me yet. Her response to that was, what about yourself? And this hit me so strongly. I thought in my head, oh yeah, what about myself? You're right. I forgot about myself again. And the message from the inner child was the same, to focus on myself, to bring out this playfulness that was inside of me, but again forgot after a few minutes. So this was a very significant moment for me, and a very strong message, and something that hit me so strongly, as I said. So from that moment, I went back to the apartment and I started just canceling calls and removing things from my schedule. I started actively and consciously making different decisions from the usual ones. I know that with trading, you have to be disciplined in order to perform well and to have good results. But I was listening to what everyone else was doing, which has helped them to become better instead of looking within me and asking my body what it needs. The line between discipline and self-sabotage is very thin. I always said to myself, no excuses. No matter how you feel, you should do X, Y, Z. I thought I was disciplined, but now I know that this wasn't discipline. It was self-sabotage. I'm a disciplined person, but I was crossing the limits between discipline and self-sabotage. I went to Bali I continued with the retreats, meditations, journaling, massages, self-care, and something that helped me even more in this spiritual journey are the kindest, nicest, warmest Balinese people. My trip wasn't planned, so I'm just deciding where I'm going next a few days before I go somewhere. And I believe that the places that I picked were guidelines from the manifestations. I'm a deep thinker, and I analyze and reflect a lot. So when I was looking at the people around me, they were not doing financially well at all. They were working like crazy day and night for very little money, but they were so happy. In the beginning, I lost internet in my villa, and I was pissed off. I was thinking like I won't be able to do anything. So I asked them when the internet was coming back, and the answer was maybe today or tomorrow. The next day it was again tomorrow, and I was thinking like, why am I so pissed off? Why am I stressing? Let me just enjoy the present moments. And I started looking at everything pretty much as a message from the universe. I started accepting things as they are, and no internet, what to do? Let's make the most out of the moment. I started partying from time to time. And for me, partying is not getting drunk and going crazy, but going crazy dancing. I love dancing, and with that, I love parties with some good vibes. Many traders say you should not go out, you should not drink, you should live like under a routine, and if you don't follow your specific routine, you won't perform at your best. Well, I don't agree anymore. I'm at my best now, and do you know what I do? I don't listen to anyone but my body. I prioritize the needs of my body and my mind, and I actively listen to them to fulfill their needs. And don't get me wrong, if you're in your early stages, studying, collecting data, and building understanding, you have to sacrifice time, you have to be disciplined, but be aware of the limit that I mentioned earlier. Personally, I have sacrificed a lot, and I know that I had to go through a lot of things, and all these things that I went through put me in the position where I am today. Just make sure not to sacrifice your health with both mental and physical health, and that's something that I was doing. You can't be eating junk food and watching Netflix and all day long and expect to feel good. All the things that I'm doing are things that are good for my health and for my well-being, but I let myself to enjoy more. Before, I ignored everything that I enjoy and I like. I was just prioritizing work, chasing numbers and goals. If you're obsessed with achieving something, you won't get where you want to be, because this puts you in a state of scarcity. This is thinking with the scarcity mindset, and with that you won't go far. And neither can you feel the 2.0 version of yourself to be able to become the 2.0 version of yourself, because as Joe Dispenza says, you should first feel it and then you're going to become it. I wanted to mention another realization that I had, but the video will get too long, so I will leave it here, and I'll leave it for another video. The profit space is in a very unstable state at the moment, but you should not worry at all about things that are out of your control. The things that you should be focusing on is yourself and your skill, and everything is going to be all right. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Let me know in the comments if you resonated with some of the things that I shared. And I hope my experience will make you think and reflect so that you can make the right and best choices for yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon again. Peace.